Back again for another video. Oh boy. Sorry I took so long to get back to you guys. Of course, there's other videos that I do have to post, but this one will come before a lot of those. Anyways, I was very sick for a short period of time there. Oh geez. But I'm a lot better. I had to definitely take care of that. I didn't have the energy or the clarity of mind to talk to you guys. I'm so behind on everything. But anyways, I'm about 80-90% back to my normal health. It was nothing life-threatening, by the way. It was just a normal sickness. But anyways, shall we continue our journey? I've been thinking of topics the whole entire time. It's just that I didn't have the right mind and the energy to articulate them as they should be. And if I would have gave you guys any videos in that period of time that came from me, they probably would not have came off correctly, and they wouldn't have the level of coherency that was necessary in order to relay the message correctly. So let's start this one out with the topic. The topic for this week, for today rather, is going to be about discipline and punishment, and dealing with in regards to dealing with multiple women. And the reason why I bring this up is because, of course, it's not a topic that I've discussed before, but also it's one that I think is very important. Because even women who accept polygyny don't understand this. They don't understand how this should look and why it should be the way it is. But and also this serves as a guideline to men. And of course, there may be things that I may change, which I will definitely point out in future videos. But as it stands, this is the best way that I understand it. And this is the rules that I go by myself as it stands currently. They may get articulated differently later on, like I said, in different videos, but here we go. So when you have more than one woman, there could be a certain level of bias that could be seen in these relationships, such as treating one differently than the other. And I don't mean you should necessarily do this, but sometimes it is necessary, because not everyone is the same person. And this isn't based on character. This isn't based on looks. This isn't based on anything else. Because remember, my criteria for any woman that I take on is that she is submissive. So therefore, that is always going to be the criteria that I use to apply discipline, rewards, punishment, etc. This has nothing to do with any other factor in regards to how these things are applied, first off. And the reason why you want to do it this way, and the reason why a woman should accept it this way, is because this is the purpose of why your submission was accepted, and why her submission is accepted, is because this will always be the criteria that is necessary to be met for the relationship to exist. So it is always the talking point in regards to what happens and what doesn't happen. So if a woman's submission is good and it exceeds your expectations, then of course there's grounds for reward. There's grounds for type of celebration for her, praise for her. And likewise, if her submission is subpar at any point in time, there's grounds for discipline. There's grounds for punishment. So, but how this looks and why this looks this way, because women, they are very outwardly looking for the validation of their existence. Once again, this is not a bad thing. That's just the way things are. So when she is being disciplined and another woman is not being disciplined. She's going to look at that as validating something about her existence. Now, the good and bad part about this may be if she is a woman who is recently separated from the gynocracy, or she is a woman who is still afflicted by woes and things of the gynocracy, learnings and teachings of the gynocracy. And I'll talk about that later on this video, hopefully, if I remember. But anyways, if she's a woman who comes from that, the way that she sees these things is not going to be how they should be seen. Unfortunately, that's just the way it is. But it is upon you, because you accepted this type of woman, that you make sure that it is clearly understood that the reason why she is getting the consequences that she is getting, because it is directly related to her level of submission or lack thereof. Whereas when it comes to her reward, that is the same thing that needs to be relayed as well, because this is a grooming process for a lot of women, because we're entering an age where women are more accepting of polygyny than they were before. And the reason why is because partially is becoming mainstream, but also because of the economic standings that are occurring right now. But the pandemic has put a hurt on a lot of women, and they have been woken up. I specifically charge you all with the duty of looking at Isaiah 4 and reading that. Isaiah 3 through 4. I would read that, and it should explain a lot of what's going on. I believe this is an age of where things are going to start turning around. But that's just my speculation. Do not take that as gospel. But anyways, back to the topic. So when it comes to discipline in a woman, she is going to see it a certain way. If she is a woman who is not part of the gynocracy, if she is a woman who is far removed from the gynocracy, if she is a woman who is not afflicted by the gynocracy, you shouldn't necessarily have any problems with her accepting her punishment being related to her level of submission, or her discipline being related to her level of submission, if it is necessarily applied. But when it comes to multiple women, you want to apply the same standard across the board, meaning that if the threshold of submission is not met, you have a certain criteria of punishment and discipline that is to follow, and it's supposed to be specific. It can be specific to wherever the what do they call it? Violation is, because, for instance, that's how discipline works. Discipline is to correct behavior and to improve it upon a specified point, meaning that if she's late, you don't want to anything. Let me explain this. Anything outside of a direction that is unwanted, or a correction that is unwanted, that deals specifically with whatever the issue is automatically punishment. For instance, I'll give you an example. If let's go with children, that'll be a lot more easier to understand. If my child likes to talk back, if I whoop them, that is punishment. The reason why is because it is unrelated directly to the correction of how things should go. And what I mean by this is, whooping someone is not a correlative thing to do in order to correct them talking back. That's just not how it works. So it's automatically punishment. Or, like, for instance, if they talk back to me and I make them clean the house, that has nothing to do with each other. That's punishment. Now, if they talk back to me and I make them write me a 5-page paper of why they shouldn't talk back to me, that's discipline, because it's directly related to what happened, and it seeks to correct the behavior. So let's make that clear. Anything outside of a direct correction, in the way that I described, is automatically punishment. So anyways, when you have multiple women, like I said, you want to keep it across the board, meaning that the degree of which you apply your discipline isn't extreme compared from one to the other, but it is directly related to their submission or non-submission. The reason why you want to do this is because you don't want to create impartiality. You don't want to create any type of resentment between the two, because remember, when you have an imbalance for a lot of things, it creates dysfunction. So you want to make sure that your punishment and that your discipline is balanced when it comes to dealing with multiple women, regardless of if they can see the punishment or if they know about the punishment or not. The reason why is because you want to be consistent. And the reason why you want to be consistent is because all the reasons that we talk about. But it's because you don't want to get in the habit of doing something that is not correct, because you become a master at what you practice. And if you practice imbalance, you're going to become a master at imbalancing. That's how it works. But the benefits of doing this is that it shows sound leadership, meaning that it shows impartial leadership. Women are more apt to follow a man who is fair. Believe it or not, that's crazy to me. Given the nature of women, they're willing to follow a man who is very fair. They're willing to follow a man who can articulate the punishment and discipline as well. I think that they are very necessary. I lean more towards more of a disciplinary thing, but sometimes I do lean towards punishment, because sometimes there is not the infraction may be so severe that discipline is a walk in the park. There are some things that need punishment to send the message. And the reason why that is because we're human. Everybody's human. We all react to this structure of classical and operant conditioning. So I haven't met a person who couldn't be conditioned. And sometimes you have to apply punishment that's within operant conditioning to send a message. So I hope this video is very explanatory. And if you guys have any questions, do feel free to ask them. Once again, I do apologize for the lengthy amount of time that I have not been present to post videos, but even you can probably hear it in my voice. I still am a little bit, like I said, off. I'm about 80-90%. But I'm almost through this, so I should be back on it full steam within a few days. But I'm still going to do my best to try to post videos as I coherently see fit, because like I said, I'm still going through it, still fighting the sickness, and it may be some time until I am able to completely defeat it. Oh yeah, I almost forgot. I was going to talk about how a woman sees this who was afflicted by gynocratic rules and gynocratic teachings. She's not going to see this very favorably. She is going to see it in a way that is biased, all because of her inherent dysfunctions. This has nothing to do with you. This has nothing to do with your character. This has nothing to do with who you are as a person. Because what's going to happen is the gynocrat parts of her, which she may be trying to get rid of, which she may be fighting with, nonetheless, they still exist. She is going to, they are going to manifest, and they're going to manifest in dysfunction. And what this looks like is she is going to say things or do things that make it seem like you are being biased because she's her and she's not the other woman or one of the other women. But you have to stand firm in your discipline and punishment and your rhetoric to explain to her this is directly related to your submission, and this is directly related to the correction of you not submitting in the way that was necessary in order for this relationship to move forward. So you must accept this discipline, you must accept this punishment. If you do not want to accept this discipline or punishment, then you must be removed. Simply as that. Because we don't deal with women who, even if they showed a good track record of submission, at any point in time they want to withdraw their submission, we withdraw our light. That's how it works. We don't play this IOU game where she gets to have a sort of a point in time where she can not be submissive and still receive light. Nope, don't do that. You'll groom her that is the way that things should be, and that is disrespectful to her because she is not learning what she should be learning, and it is disrespectful to yourself because you should not be accepting such behavior and still giving your light. So anyways, like, comment, and share. Check me out on Facebook. Check me out on Patreon. Until next time, this has been the Wolf and Beta Close. May you have a good day, and peace be with you.